Alrighty. Hello, hello, hello. Incredible greetings. I had to adjust my microphone real quick and stuff is falling off my desk. Alrighty. There we go. Incredible greetings, everyone. Hello, 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 hello. Alrighty. Not going to be on too long, but I have come to realize that my live videos normally is the quickest way because I send out emails and not everyone gets the email. Sometimes it goes to their spam folders. So live videos, posts tend to be one of the quicker ways or more efficient ways sometimes for me to get information out. When the social media sites play nice with my algorithm, it works. But I wanted to kind of come on to let you guys know who are enrolled or interested in enrolling in our Essentials of Silhouette Studio, which is our flagship, program over at our academy. It is what I am most known for teaching others to use Silhouette Studio to be able to create an infinite number of projects and designs and things of that nature over in Silhouette Studio, which, although it is the program that's used to control a craft cutter, craft cutters, should I say, as in the Silhouette Cameo, Silhouette Portrait, Silhouette Curio, and the Mint. And I don't know if they still sell or manufacture the Alpha, but that was their 3D printer. Although it's used to control and to send the data to those machines for them to create, it can be used as a standalone graphic designing program. And that's the part of it that we're going to talk more about in this live video, and just kind of like what this training is about. It's about teaching you to use it, not just in conjunction with the machine, but as a graphic designing software, whether you have a machine or you don't. Okay. So that's what we're going to discuss today. All right, so just give me a moment. I need to share this out. I haven't actually used my music in a minute. So I'm going to use that. Okay. So guys, just give me a moment. I'm going to throw on a little mood music, if you will. Little bebop, not too major. And we're going to be right back. Alrighty. Hello, hello, hello. Incredible greetings. Okay, welcome back, everyone. Took me a little bit longer because I had to, I had to take care of something real quick. But we are back. Hello, everyone. I know you can only see my screen because everything that we're going to talk about today is going to be, you're going to be able to look at it on, my system. Okay. So we are talking about Silhouette Studio today. Okay. And the power of the software and what it can do for you in your creative journey, whether it's personal, if you're trying to monetize it, to start a side hustle, to eventually have it be your part-time gig, to maybe even being your full-time gig and your bread and butter, you can start that with Silhouette Studio. Silhouette Studio is a standalone graphic designing program that you can download onto your system and not have to worry about internet interference, or if their server goes down, you can't use your program. You don't have to worry about any of those things, which you do have to worry about which although they are great softwares, I do use them like Canva. If something happens to your internet, if something happens with their server more so, you cannot design, and save in Canva. Cricut Design Space is also the same way. Silhouette Studio allows you to use it without any internet like interference. Now, of course, you have ones like Affinity, which is also like one that you can download. And I know Affinity actually has something going on right now. It's like a 3 or 6 month trial. I want to say it's 6 months because Canva acquired Affinity. And I think they're working on like merging everything. It just wants you to kind of get a feel of what a world of Affinity and Canva look like. So you can, always get that one, but you have to pay for that one, right? You have Photoshop, you have to pay for it. You have Illustrator, you have to pay for it. Silhouette Studio is a absolutely free program because you can do a lot. When I teach my class, I mainly teach from the free version and showing what you can do from the free version. Now, we do tap into all the things that you can do from Designer, Designer Plus, and Business. But the majority of the content and the majority of foundations of Essentials of Silhouette Studio is based on the free version, a version that everybody will have access to. Okay. So that's what we're going to take a look at as far as like the program itself, how you download it, how you get into it, what are some of the things that you can do with it, and just kind of go from there. Okay. I am Shakia, the professor of HSINK365. We are the home of the Honestly Speaking brand of products. We carry Sublimation paper and Sublimation ink. Our Sublimation paper allows you to submit as low as 365 degrees, as fast as 30 seconds. Our our ink comes in 140 milliliter bottles, so you get more bang for your buck. It's keyed for the Epson Eco Tank printer, so all I have to do is just turn it and fill, or you can use our 20 milliliter or 30 milliliter syringes to fill your cartridges if you are still using a cartridge-based printer. All right. We are also the owners of 365 Creative Academy, which is where we help you to unlock your creativity in a wide variety of classes and trainings on design and actually making physical products and projects as well. All right. So let's see. Hello, hello, hello. Incredible greetings. Welcome in. I have no idea what's going on with my tongue today. I'm like a little tongue tied. Listening in while working on the 9 to 5. Hey, I'm mad at you. Thank you for tapping in. All right. So incredible morning. Can you use your ink? Wait, can your ink be used in the Epson 15,000 or do we need to have eco solvent ink? I mean, if you're trying to do eco solvent printing. So although this is not what this is about, guys, this is not a general Q&A. I want to make sure I let you guys know that this is not a general Q&A. We are here to talk specifically about Silhouette Studio, but you asked, so I will answer this one. Any other questions that come after this, if it's not related to what you can do with Silhouette Studio or using your printer with Silhouette Studio, I will not be able to answer those questions for you. But we sell Sublimation ink and we sell pigment ink. There are two different types of ink. So if you don't know, the typical inks that we in the craft world are used to using or we kind of hear about would be your dye-based ink, which is what actually comes in the box for your ET 15,000. It is an ink that's used for just regular everyday printing, regular, like just your regular prints. But it is not water resistant. If it gets wet, the ink will run. The next one for regular printing would be your pigment ink which is what we sell. People always ask, can you take pigment ink and put it inside of an ET printer? Can you? Yes. Should you? No, because it is a dye-based printer. I have tons and tons and tons. Like at one point, I think I used to do a video every single month breaking down printers and what you could and could not like do with it, or just breaking down the inks and the differences in them. Dye ink, pigment ink, totally different in their makeup and composition. So if you put pigment ink inside of a dye-based printer, your colors will be off. They will be darker. It's definitely not going to look anything like it is like on your screen because it is a different type of ink. If you want to use pigment ink, my recommendation is to get a printer that actually comes with pigment ink in the box. Even if you decide to use third-party pigment ink afterwards, you want to get a printer that has pigment ink in the box. That's a story. That's a discussion for another day, not in this one. Then you have your sublimation ink. So sublimation, special process. You put the ink in there. Epson printers work because they're heat-free. We sell the sublimation ink on our website. You need to print it out on paper and then needs to be heat applied. So with the first two, you can just print them on the paper. What you see is what you get. Sublimation requires heat. Then we have eco solvent, which is the last one that you asked about. So that is more so for your printers to print to like adhesive vinyl, printable HTV, things of that nature. Normally with a printer like a Roland, there's some other ones, but you know, I use a Roland. So you have like solvent, eco solvent latex printers, like when they're doing like the casket wraps. So when it comes to the 15,000, can you put eco solvent in it? Yes. It is an ink that will not smear. Like if you were to take pigment ink and print it onto printable HTV, it will smear. It will never ever dry. Eco solvent will, absorb into that and dry, and then you can do like full color shirts, full color the graphics on any shirt, whether it is a color shirt, a white shirt, a cotton shirt, a blended shirt, a polyester shirt. It will allow you to put that full graphic design on there. Okay. And then, of course, you have like DTF ink. So some people want to use that, but that's like not for the 15,000. So they are different inks. You have to decide what type of project that you're going to design in Silhouette Studio. See how I brought that back full circle? What type of project are you going to design in Silhouette Studio? And what type of printer do you need to print said project? And that's how you're going to determine which ink you're going to use. We sell pigment ink for pigment printers. Like whether it's an Epson workforce printer, the Epson ET 16600, 16650. I also put our pigment ink in my Canon TC20, which is a 24-inch wide format pigment ink printer. So that's a little bit, when it comes to that. Okay. No, I get it. And that's why because I'm on this screen and it keeps going back and forth, which is why I answered the question. But no, you're good. You're good. You're good. Hold on. The little person saw a baby spider and refused. He doesn't want to go in his room anymore. So I'm trying to make him go to his. Okay, you got to go to your brother's room. I'm live right now, sir. There's nothing I can do about that right now. All right. So hello, hello, hello. Incredible greetings. Incredible greetings. Okay. So, let's see. Okay. So, for Silhouette Studio, it is a free software. You're going to go to whatever web browser you use and you're going to type in Silhouette America. Okay. That is the parent company. So what I am noticing, like sometimes people will go in, they're looking in the app store for Silhouette Studio, or they're just typing in Silhouette Studio and it's taking them to sites that have the upgrades. The upgrades are great, but just purchasing the upgrade will not get you to the actual program. Right? So you still have to have the base free edition first, and then you take that code from like whatever upgrades you purchase, you input that, and then it will unlock additional features, which I'm going to show you what the screen looks like for each of the levels of Silhouette Studio. So from free all the way up to business, I'm going to show you how different your screen will look. Okay. But here from their website is where you're going to download the free version. You're going to go up here to software. Now, the link to this website is in the description of this video, so you should be able to go there and click on it, and it'll get you right to Silhouette America's website. Oh, by the way, this is not a sponsored video. I am not affiliated with Silhouette Studio or Silhouette America in any way, shape, or form. This is a system that I came across 11 years ago when I was forced to, because I had the old Cricut that used cartridges, and I used to use shortcuts a lot, make the cut. I used to have a gypsy, like all those things to be able to just really be creative on my own and be able to cut. And then when ProvoCraft sued them, and they took that away, and then they came out with what we now know as Cricut Design Space, I had to make a transition. It was between Silhouette, and I'm not sure if any of you guys have been in the crafting game a while to where you know what an eclipse is. So an eclipse was another craft cutter that was on the market during that time. And just based off like certain features, I decided to go with the Silhouette system, and I do not regret it. Best decision when I was in that transition period, because it literally changed the trajectory of how I did business, the jobs that I could take on, because I would get fatigue in my hand. Like I would get cramps in my hands from trying to hand cut so many things for my event planning business. And this system and its print and cut allowed me to free up my hands for certain projects. So I'm very grateful for it. And I will sing its praises from now until, whenever, because it is just an amazing system. Amazing, amazing, amazing system. Okay. Even though and that's why that for me, this is not, hey, unleash your creativity. Either y'all using Chat GPT, because they use that a lot, but we say unlock your creativity. So I just realized that this says unleash your creativity. That is so popular on Anytime you put anything craft related or creative related in Chat GPT, it tells you to unleash your creativity. It's so weird. Um, every single time. I know some people just kind of say that, but I don't know why. It always just seems very Chat GPT-ish whenever I read those words. What was I saying? But yeah, so I mean, it just changed life for me, not having to cut everything out by not having to cut everything out by hand. Okay. So you're gonna come to this website and you're gonna go to software. There, it is important to know that this program, the way that it's set up, now there are some, there are some things that bug me sometimes. Like you can have a brand new system, but not have enough resources. Silhouette Studio is very needy for resources. So you want to make sure that you do have a decent amount of hard drive space, because if that hard drive space gets too low, you're going to get a warning. Like it'll show you like green, red, yellow, like when it's critical. And it will shut down a lot. If your memory is not up to par, it will shut down and move very, very, very slow as well. So it's very needy. If you have programs like Photoshop, Illustrator, like those on there as well, excuse me, you, you know, it can cause some issues with certain versions because they have so much packed into, certain versions, all right? Most Windows computers now, they don't even make like the 32-bit. Like I think most of them are just 64. So they are moving with that and how technology is moving. So if you are someone who still has an older system, the newer version of Silhouette Studio may not be compatible with your computer. So if you're considering at some point getting a Cameo 5, or even if you can find the 4, you very well may need to also budget in for a new computer. Make sense? Let me know if you guys can, if you're with me, you're understanding. Get somebody to wave in the chat. Hey, just say. But yeah, so if you're wanting the newer machines, good morning, son. You may need to also budget in for a new computer system. And when you get that new computer system, I know you may have been used to storage in the gigs, but we want to move into terabytes. A lot of the times the systems that are available for like Black Friday and Cyber Monday, like in stores, like Walmart, Target, even Best Buy, like a lot of times they're still kind of working in gigs. They think, okay, you just need it for school. Or like just small things, not thinking about graphic designing, not thinking about storing a lot of files. Your system takes up a lot of that hard drive space. It's not separate of it. It takes up. So your operating system takes up the space on your hard drive first. And then now any preloaded programs or any programs that you add just to run the program itself takes up space. Most people think that the space on your computer comes from the files that you save. And you're like, man, I don't have a lot of files here. Why is it still running so slow? Or why am I having issues? It's because your hard drive was not big, that was not large enough to support all of the programs plus the files. 1 terabyte is like, okay, but my recommendation would be, if you're looking to get into this, especially as a even as a hobby that you will be like really, really, really into, and a high volume hobby, or if you plan to get into this for business, when you're looking for your next system, I highly recommend looking for a hard drive that's at least 2 terabytes or above, to make sure that you have enough storage space to support the programs that you will, scale up to. Because even if you start with Silhouette, eventually you may want to get Affinity Photo or Affinity Designer or get Photoshop. You may have a lot of files that you're going to want to store. If you are like me and you want to, and you're obsessed with fonts and you want to download and install a bunch of fonts, you're going to need that storage. If you are like me and you spend a lot of time on Creative Fabrica, you are going to want to have that storage. So when you're looking for a new system, look for at least 2 terabytes. And there's some other requirements as far as like your graphics. Make sure that you have a good graphics card. Okay. If you get a gaming system or a system that is compatible or that will work well for virtual reality or VR, that's always a good starting point, is to go in and figure out what's the most affordable gaming or VR computer system that you can purchase. That's going to get you kind of like where you need to be as far as memory, your graphics card, your storage, things of that nature. Okay. So once we have that taken care of, you're going to come here, and we're going to download the software. So you have Mac or Windows. And if you come here, so the current version is 4.5.807. I don't know if that's the one that I have. Hold on, let's see. I actually have 4.5.778. So I have not, knock on wood, had to go up to the next one. And just because it is the latest version does not mean it's the best version. Every system is different in which version of the program is going to be best for you, because some people get it and they'll say, oh my God, I can't get it to stay open. Every time they open it up, it shuts right back down. So they may have to use an old version of Silhouette Studio. How do you access the old versions of Silhouette Studio? You're going to click where it says legacy versions. Okay. Now, my all-time favorite one, although it does have some glitches, don't get me wrong, it has some glitches, but it is the most stable version of Silhouette Studio. Hey, they actually have some 4.5 versions for 32-bit. That's kind of interesting. Oh, that's kind of cool. So if you have to have 4.5, because if you have the, what is that thing called? If you have the Cameo 5, there's a certain version that you have to have of Silhouette Studio. If you plan to use like the, what is it, auto feeder, the electrostatic mat, there's like certain versions that you have to use because they have the programming for those particular add-ons. But the most stable version, it's still the most stable, because even with the 4.4s, a lot of people had issues with these, right? It's going to be 4.3.370. And I highly recommend, even if your system says and it detects that it's a 64-bit, download and install the 32-bit version of that version, okay? Of that edition, like 32-bit option of this version. So 4.3.370, if all else fails, you can utilize that one. If you're used to using 4.4, 4.5, you are going to lose certain features like snap, the snap, what is it? Smart snapping. You're going to lose things like being able to, auto PNG trace, which if you follow me long enough, you'll know that I don't recommend using the auto PNG trace anyway. What else is there? I know smart snapping, auto PNG trace, and I think I'm trying to think. What else? Those might be like the only two major things that you lose access to when you downgrade to 4.3.370. The good thing about Silhouette Studio is you are able to customize your experience and have a version that works for your system. But when you're looking through all of this, this can be very, very intimidating, very overwhelming. Whereas programs like Cricut Design Space, they will automatically do an update. So if a new update is there, you can't pick and choose which one you go to, like unless you're flipping back and forth between whatever beta version they have, you have to automatically go to the newest one. But that may cause, have issues with your system. So I do appreciate the fact that Silhouette Studio kind of keeps a lot of these numbers around and these versions around so that you can figure out which one is going to work best for your your needs, your system, and things of that nature. Every time a upgrade becomes available, or an update, not an upgrade, I'm sorry, an update becomes available, you do not have to go to that version. If you look at the release notes, a lot of the times it will tell you what it has fixed. So new versions do not always give you new features or improves like a whole bunch of stuff or their program as a whole. If enough people have reported, hey, I'm experiencing this on this system doing this thing while X, Y, and Z, they're going to create a fix for that. Okay. So like this one, it says it fixed display issues found with Mac OS. And sometimes that is what will happen, right? Because as your systems update, like Mac's operating system Windows, certain things can happen. I know for Macs, one of the issues would be depending on how far in you're zoomed in or out, your image would turn black. And that was a really big issue with a lot of the versions of Mac. And then there was one to where the new version of Silhouette Studio, it wasn't compatible with one, like at all, with one of the versions, like the operating iOS of Mac. So they'll tell you like, hey, what was the fix for this? Where, okay, in this version, you couldn't use it with this version or this operating system of Mac. Now you can. So that's like, you don't always have to go to the next version. If the version that you're on is working, do not change it. Do not look at it. Do not consider changing until a need presents itself for you to change. So it says fix display issues, resolve display issues. So not only was it 14.1, but also Sonoma updated loading speeds for Portrait 4. So if you don't have these machines, right, this doesn't apply to you. So you wouldn't necessarily need to do this update just because it's there. Updates can sometimes mess your system if your system does not have the right amount of resources to handle that upgrade. Upgrades normally come with more data, okay? Studio now recognizes when Cameo series of cutters have been paused. Text objects near the cut border now mirror correctly when using heat transfer material. So now there's a new, so if you have the version, the Cameo 5, there's a new firmware. So this is actually what I like about this one, the way they do it now, because their website has changed. So they're telling you with each of these versions what the changes were. So with the newer one, all it did was updated API call for downloading images. And that was, some people were having images downloading from their design store and it just would not like actually download. So that was a fix if you were experiencing that issue. And then like this version, it was this fix. This version, it was that. I said that so many times. I'm like, why don't they show like which one, like as a whole thing? Like that was pretty annoying sometimes. Because sometimes they will put just what the change is, but then you don't see like when they first go to like the 4.5 version, like everything that it added, you don't really get to see that. So I am glad that they heed, the call, and they now have this where you can see all of the changes at one glance. Okay. So you can kind of go through that. I'm going to go ahead and back up. So, like I said, the most stable version that I found, no matter which system you're using, except if you're using the Cameo 4 Pro, there is a specific 4.4 version that you have to, or maybe just any 4.4 version. And then for the Cameo 5, you have to be in a certain 4.5 version in order to use the Cameo 5. And then it's like, if you got the Cameo 5, but then you wanted to use the electrostatic matte, there was a version that you had to be at for that option to show up, in the program. So that's all of that, right? So you're going to come on here, download the version. If you want to start with the highest version, you do that and you just choose it. And if it starts to not work, then you want to watch our video on installing and then choose a different version. If you're just using it for design, I say go with 4.3.370. Okay. So that's that as far as legacy. And then you'll also sometimes see beta versions, which right now there is no beta version. So actually, you know what? No, this was not. This is Connect. Let me come down here. So I was actually on the wrong one. We're here. So yeah, actually I probably was on this one. There's no beta version. So you just have legacy versions and the current version. So yeah, it is 4.5.807. Yeah. So this is Silhouette Studio, and you're going to choose which version you want. You don't have to buy an upgrade to Designer, Designer Plus, or Business. You don't have to, okay? So that's that. Once you have this, you also want to go over here and create a free account, because if you decide to get an upgrade, that is where you're going to, that's where it's going to store your information for your upgrade, to where when you go into a studio, all you have to do is like activate it. Okay. All right. So let's see. Someone over here said something. They fixed the snapping feature in the 4.5 version. I had to update when I when I bought the Pro. Quick note, they did fix issues 4.5 when I was forced to update when I purchased the Pro. I have never had an issue with the snapping feature, so I'm not sure like which issue that was. So this is the thing that happens too sometimes, right? This is why I say you don't always have to do updates. Some way, somehow, as they're programming like the new version, somehow certain features end up disappearing. We realized this with, I think, the replicate tool. When you go into like the advanced replicate tool functions, it was either missing the slider, the numbers, or the arrows, one of those things. So this happens. There was also like an issue to where if you locked it, you couldn't go, like for your size, you couldn't go past 19.65. So they had that. There was like an old school version where in order to do 13 by 19, you had to have business edition. So certain things somehow get taken away. So like I will say for me, I don't have, and I've never experienced an issue using the smart snapping. So I would have never even known that or thought to, okay, well, let me update to fix that if I was not having an issue. And that's, I'm going to go back to that point. If it's not broke, don't attempt to fix it. Now, if something happens where it starts to shut down on you too much, or if you go into a version and you maybe saw a video, they were doing X, Y, and Z, but now you don't see that on yours. Now you may want to go in and maybe go back to that video, ask them exactly which version they're using, and then go and download that version, okay? All right, so once you have the program, we're going to go into it, and this is what Silhouette Studio looks like. All right. I'm going to go to help. I'm going to view in standard version, standard edition. Watch how my screen changes. We're going to lose some features on the right and the left. My bar on the left is going to get significantly smaller. Okay. There we go. Right. So that got smaller. I lost some things on the right hand, on the left hand side, and the right hand side and the left. The left-hand side and the right-hand side as I'm looking at it, okay? So you have like, you lose some of the things that can make things move a little bit faster. You can still trace. You can still do text to path. You can type out text. You can still fill with color. You can fill with the pattern. You can adjust your pattern size. You can still make custom gradients. You have access to everything except sheer, so you can still change the hue and saturation and brightness and contrast, the gamma. You can still do all of that. You can still align. You can still replicate. You even have the advanced replicate to like do different numbers, different angles, things of that. So you get a lot in the free version. People always say, oh, like they immediately go to get Silhouette Studio Business Edition. Unless you have a ish load of SVGs that you want to be able to, to open, you don't necessarily need to update. If you're someone that's like brand new and you're creating a lot of the designs, if you just want to trace to be able to create SVGs, you don't need the upgraded version. If you want to design in Silhouette Studio and you want to then take it to Cricut Design Space, you want to be able to create frames for Canva. Do you need Business Edition? No, not really. Will it make your life a little bit easier to just go file, save, and save as an SVG or scalable vector graphic? Absolutely. However, with the free version, you can save it as a silhouette file. And then there is a website that will allow you to convert that vectorized silhouette file into an SVG. Now, if you have things like pictures of people or backgrounds, like, pattern backgrounds, stuff like that, they will not convert over into an SVG, scalable vector graphic. It has to be vector. I'm going to explain more tonight in my live Zoom, live interactive class tonight, the differences between something that is a raster or bitmap image and something that is vector and how it saves. So that's one of the things that we're going to go over tonight in class. Okay. But you can do that where you create your text, you can manipulate your shapes because you still have access to edit points in the free version, your erasure tool, your shape tool, welding, subtracting, so you can create a lot. You can trace something out. So you don't have to have an SVG version because it allows you to trace, to vectorize something and be able to change the colors or add patterns, add gradients, things of that nature. So then you save it as a silhouette file, go into that website, convert it, and then you now have the SVG version to be able to open in other programs. Okay. So you don't have to have business edition. I see that so much where you have to have business edition. Oh, do you have Silhouette Studio? And they immediately say business edition. I'm going to tell you, before you invest in business edition, even though it's only a one-time fee, download the base program. You're not going to lose anything in downloading it, playing around with it, trying it out, because it's absolutely free. Completely free. Okay. Uh-oh. Why'd you pop up? All righty. Why does this keep coming up? All right. Stop it. Stop it. There we go. All right. So now we're going to go. I'm going to show it to you from Designer Edition. So I want to just kind of come over here real quick. I want you to see what trace looks like now. I want you to see what the text style looks like now. I want you to see what, actually that's it. Like as far as those, oh no, under image effects, what that looks like. Because those are the only things that are going to be affected by this change. Okay. And then you're going to see some additional tools pop up. All right. So we're going to go to View in Designer Edition. And your screen will look the same. It doesn't matter if you have a Mac or if you have a PC. The only difference that you will see is like at the top for File, Edit, View. You guys have to like hover to get that. Your screen might look different because there are different modes, but it doesn't mean that the placement of certain tools, they're not different. It's just that your screen will look different based off of the theme that you have going on for your particular computer. That's the only thing that's going to change, is the colors and stuff on the screen. You can always change that to match exactly like how someone else's look. But the icons, where they appear at, how you click on things, all of that will remain it will just remain the same. Your top bar is the only thing that won't be static, and you have to hover to be able to get this top bar up here. Okay. So when we go to trace, we now have trace by color, magnet trace. When you go to image effects, you now have shadows. When you go to transform, you now have shear. When we go to text, we now have glyphs that you can use. Oh, I know what I forgot. Oh, actually, no, you still don't have it. So Designer Edition, you don't get the flexi shapes. That comes with the next one. Okay. Something, I think that's the only thing that changed, because you get the properties dropper now with the designer version. You get your rhinestone tool, you get nesting, you get layers, you get warping. So we now have added things in once you update it. The page size doesn't change. Like I said, page size doesn't change. Printing doesn't change. You don't get more print space because you have an updated or upgraded version. Those are the things that change. Now, when we go up to Designer Edition Plus, now there are some things that change on like the back end, what files you can open up. Once you go to Designer, you can open up SVGs, you can open up PDFs. If a PDF was created in a vector program, it becomes a like it opens up as a vector. It's already layered out. You can ungroup it, release compound path, change colors without having to trace it. If it wasn't, you would still be able to open the PDF. It'll just be flattened. But now we have things like flexi shapes. I use these quite often. You have things like under your rhinestone, which I didn't show it before. The designer just has the standard. This one has advanced rhinestones. I don't use the advanced rhinestones. Under warping, I didn't really go into it, but the regular one just has like designer just has the regular warp, and I believe the template warp. Design Edition Plus and Business, they both have the cone warp, right? So that is one of the major changes, is like the cone warp, the advanced rhinestones. Your layers doesn't change. You don't get more features with that. Nothing with offsetting, nothing with modify. Your replicate remains the same. Your transform remains the same. When it comes to text, everything there still remains the same. Your image effects remains the same. Like nothing else changes with Designer Plus. It's more so the flexi shapes, the cone warp, and the fact that you can now open up embroidery type files, like for appliques. If you want to be able to cut your fabric instead of cutting it by hand, you now can open up certain files. Like that's the only differences, okay? And then when you go up to Business Edition, you get a few more, like you'll get media view, what's those things called? Weed boxes, media view. This remains the same, just get the regular cone warp. Nothing here changes. Like it's the same stuff from Designer Plus. You get the addition of being able to create your own fonts, and it's a process for that to create it, draw them out, and then scan it, and then as you type, it will basically be that font or whatever. So that's that. And then there's some hidden things like crosshairs, center of rotation, which you get starting with Designer Edition. So there are some things that aren't icon wise, but they're helpful. They can be annoying, but they're really helpful in certain versions. So you don't have to get Designer. You can get just the regular version of Silhouette Studio and start there. Learning to do things like tracing, learning to manipulate and modify. Just something that's very, very simple that you would not be able to do in something like Canva, or even, you would have to, you can't type it out and then, you know what? Actually, before I say that, let me make sure that I am saying that correctly. It's probably going to do an update, because when doesn't Cricut Design Space do an update? But I want to see something before I say what I was about to say. But we're going to come. Okay, what's going on here? Did it just freeze on me? What the heck just happened? Yeah, see? When is it not do an update? So it's downloading an update for Cricut Design. Oh, it's probably because it says I'm on beta. Maybe that's why mine is always, because mine says beta V8.30.64. And I'm wondering maybe that's why, because I like when I was trying out that whole being able to do the bigger print and cut, and I'm always in, maybe I need to switch. Maybe it won't update so much if I'm not in beta version, because beta, I feel like every time I open this sucker, it's doing an update. Incredible greetings. Hello, hello, hello. My classes, whenever it's an evening class, it is the same time in the evening. What time does the professor normally host class? Let's see who pays attention. What time do I host evening classes? If you've taken a class with me, they all start at the same time. Okay, what just happened over here? All righty. I am very, very consistent. I don't know if this is the right account, but whatever. I just need Cricut Design Space to open up. But I got to figure out what's going on with Silhouette Studio. It don't want to move. Oh, wait, there it is. No, it's not moving. Ever since I went to this, see, I just realized that I went to this whole font creation thing and now it's just frozen. Yeah, ever since I went to this font creation, it's just frozen. Okay, so let's go Control Alt Delete. Open up my task manager. And see, that's an issue where I now, like, if someone never tries to create fonts themselves and they don't click on that, they probably wouldn't know that it locks up Silhouette Studio. So now they may do a version where in the next version, it doesn't lock it up. You know, they can only make changes based off what people are reporting. So if a lot of people aren't using the font creation, they probably didn't even know that it was doing that. So I'm just going to end task on that one and then open it back up. In the meantime, in between time, we're going to come over here. We're going to go new project, blank canvas, and I'm going to go text. All right, so let's see. When it comes to text, yeah, you don't have a contour here, but I think if you put like the box and you slice it, and a little smaller. So you have like the two versions. This is the text version. Oh, actually now all of them have it. So once you slice it, it's no longer text. Okay. It's no longer text at that point. So neither one of these shows up as text where you can go in and change it. They're now all paths. So now you can go into contour, take out that middle part and close it, right? And I'm going to just duplicate this and contour. I'm going to hide all, turn on this middle part and turn that off. Wait, is it off or on? Okay, there we go. And close it. So now I have this piece and I can make that a different color. So like those, I like to call it like the Martin, or like, I think it's like in Living Color, or like Martin and stuff like that, where, or like the, what's the other one? I think it might be like an HBCU theme, you know, design stuff. And like the middle letter is like pulled out, or it is just a different color. That's how you would do that in Silhouette Studio. And we're going to look at how you would do that in Cricut Design Space. We're going to look at how you would do that in Silhouette Studio whenever it opens up. 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every single time. 6:30 p.m. All right, don't know what's happening with Silhouette Studio. All right, well, while Silhouette Studio is attempting to open back up, let's talk about tonight's class. If you would like to enroll, now as of Friday, because we have officially started Q3's review, okay? We have officially started Q3's review. If you are enrolled, an email was sent out. Make sure that you guys are checking your inboxes, checking your spam folder, because an email was sent out in regards to tonight's class, okay? So make sure that you guys are checking your emails from 365 Creative Academy. But because we are now starting the review for Q3, and the keyword in this is review, we have taught Essentials of Silhouette Studio, and it's still called Learn Silhouette Studio in 30 Days because that is where you're going to learn the bulk of the program from, because this is where every piece of it has its own individual day and multiple days for certain things, like the modified tool, tracing, edit points. They have multiple days. So this is still your number one video resource on, learning Silhouette Studio when you want to really, really learn it. Not just a tutorial for how do I make invitation? How do I make a cutout? How do I design a shirt? How do I design a tumbler? What do I do for this? How do I design my own SVG? In order to be able to do that, you have to understand the program, because it never fails. When I go in and I'm showing someone how to do something, whether it's, how to trace, even down to how to trace, or how to make an invitation, how to do X, Y, and Z, it's, oh, wait, but what's that? How do you do that? What does that tool do? I get that every single time. Why does it have to be to the back? Does it have to be to the back, be to the front? Oh, I'm trying to crop this, but I'm not getting the results that I want. Like, everything goes away. Do you have more than one thing? No, I just have, okay, but that part in the back to you is just two when you're selecting it, but is it grouped? I think so, right? All of these things are addressed so that you don't have those issues if you're doing you want to do a crop and it's multiple pieces to it. How to properly weld, understanding tracing and how it works and why certain things pick up and some don't. Tracing for this is different for tracing for that. All of these things you are taught in the 30-day, within our essentials regardless, but our 30-day training is the foundation, and you should always reference it. You have to make time to go through that. And the one thing that we realized in the refresher was a lot of students were not going back. It's like they were just relying on the refresher, and there were still some gaps because the refresher was only 13 weeks, one session a week for 13 weeks with study hall sessions. Some people come in study hall session, have questions, and they're thriving, and then others, they would skip the study hall sessions. But the original breaks everything down. So you cannot skip over that. You're not purchasing this just to come to a live session. So many people think that they want to learn in a live session. We can't slow the class down and go so slow to where we're there for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, because it's like, okay, I'm trying to grasp, I'm trying to catch on. Like, I want to learn right now while I'm on with the professor. So if I have a question, we can't do that, right? I have a family, you guys have families, and people will get bored just sitting there for hours and hours and hours. You have to be disciplined. You have to schedule time. I get it. You guys are going head first. You're seeing all this amazing stuff in these groups. You want to start a business. You want to make some extra money. You want to start a side hustle. I get it, right? You're doing those things. Oh man, I don't have time. Just show me how to do this. Like, you want instant gratification. Someone can show you, but then now every time you need to do something, someone's going to have to break it down for you. And not everybody's going to be able to do it for free. And then there are some people that are showing it and they're just learning and figuring out themselves. And they're going to show you how to go through the river, across the river, through the woods, around the mulberry bush to get to that point, because they don't know as well. You have to be committed to learning the program, the tools. What are their core functions? What is it that they do? How do they operate? How do they interact with something else? How do you get this result, no matter what it is that you're doing? So this is always going to be where you need to come back to. So we did the refresher, did it 13 weeks. We kind of sort of did like what we did in 30 days, but we just broke it down and we combined some lessons and it went a little bit faster. This one is more so of a review. Now, there are key components that we are going over during this review period. It's 3 months, right? Because I can't meet with you guys every single day for, just a month. I can't do that, right? So it's broken up, and you guys can't. You have things that you have to do. You have obligations. Once school starts back, I'll be back into PTA mode and, having those meetings and this, that, and the third. So having to commit to something every single day is hard for us, because we live in this world. We live, you know, we have families and there's things that we have to do. So you wouldn't be able to attend a class every single day, even if I had it every day. So we are breaking it up into several weeks over the next 3 months. There's no rush to learn this. You have to give yourself time to learn it. If you're just trying to rush to get to it and learn it, you're setting yourself up for failure. Okay. You don't learn graphic design. You don't become great at this to where people don't question your design. You don't get questioned about your design fees because you understand how to use proper fonts. You understand how to make a design exciting and, you know, and just make it look different. This is when you start to not be questioned, right? About your design fee or your fee to like be able to create anything. But it takes practice. It takes being dedicated to mastering your crafts. If you're selling something, that means that you are a professional in it. You cannot become a professional unless you are actually working at the thing to improve your skills on a consistent basis. Okay. So the 30 days. Well, you get, so with this price, we're going to update. We're working to have someone kind of update this for, because I'm doing so many things that I just cannot focus on the graphics. It's not that I cannot do it. I don't have the time. And I'm learning to not stress over tasks that can really be delegated out. And I can hire someone. I can contract someone. I can commission, you know, have a commission piece for someone to do certain things. It's, yeah, me doing it myself is no longer a flex, you know. Can I do it? Yes, but it's just slowing me down. And that's the thing that you guys will learn too. Doing everything yourself is definitely not a flex. I know we like to think so because it's your business. It's my, you know, I'm an entrepreneur. I have my business, whatever. So, oh yeah, you know, doing everything yourself, it seems like a flex, but it's also stressful. Number one reason why, your girl had a heart attack trying to flex and do everything myself. Not anymore. Like, not gonna happen, Cap. Not in this new season. Not after this reset, okay? But this price will change because now we're adding another component to it. You better get in where you fit in. There were some that got this when it was $83.65, and then it was a $93.65. We are now at $103.65. It is going to go up again on Friday. I told you guys, once the quarter 3 started, the price will change because now you have access to not one, not two, but three it'd be 3 sets of playbacks or just 3 basic like modules and 3 ways to learn this. So get in early. After Friday, the price will change. So if you come to the website on Saturday, the price will be different. Okay. So you have a one-time payment, and if you're going to use buy now, pay later like Sezzle, so you can enroll today for $25.91. Well, it'll actually be a little bit more because with buy now, pay later, you pay $115.63. So it's at, and this right here bases off of the first one. So it'll be a little bit more than $25.91 to enroll today, but you will get full access. You will immediately get access, which I'm just going to go into the program. You'll get immediate access to, this is not inside the program. This is still just kind of looking at it. All of the playbacks for the 30 days. Okay. All of our downloads that we use, we're going to come down here. So all of the sessions. So this is our refresher. Some of them have the broken down version. Some don't because, some of it was like technical difficulties, but I'm working on basically putting all of, actually, no, I may have done all of these. The ones that I'm working on is from the original 30 days, but there's ones that are segmented, or you can watch the full playback of it. So those are all there. And then why are you at the bottom? This was supposed to be at the top. I don't know how it got down there, but we have the review. So you're going to go here. This is how you will access your Zoom link. So not from this screen, you have to go into the course. It looks different. This is just kind of breaking down where others can see what all is included. So now if I go and, oh, I'm not signed in. Let me take this off of this screen so I can sign in. I was wondering why it said buy and not start course. So let me do this and sign in. I had to move it on this screen because sometimes it'll show the back office, which is not what we want to do. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this back and we're gonna click here and resume course. So this is what it will look like once you go in. There is a welcome video. So there's drop downs. Make sure that you click on the drop down. If it says 0 of 5, there's 5 different things here. Now this was this was the old calendar. I have to get rid of those. But you have the video. Oh, it is up there. I don't know why it's at the bottom. But here is where you will access the link for or register for the Zoom. You will do that here. And then you have the playbacks for, see, this one doesn't have the broken down version. So this one doesn't, some of them I know that I'm going in and I'm still labeling stuff, but some of them have the broken down version here and you can just go to that particular lesson because we start and stop. Or there is a live stream where it is the full class all the way through, and that will allow you to watch it anywhere from that particular link. You don't have to be in the program. So we have all that here. So you get access to 30 days, the refresher, and every time students ask different questions, and then you have the review. Okay, so that is how you access the review to attend the session tonight. All right, is this back up? Yes, it is. All right. Okay. Recover documents, one of the greatest things of version 4 when they had that. Amazing. I love recover documents. But yeah, any questions for me in regards to Silhouette Studio? I will show that here you don't have to have a machine, selected. You don't have to have registration marks. You can simply print. So if you want to do a gang sheet, you can do a 22, although I personally do 21.5 and you can go all the way up to that it will save properly. Can you technically make the gang sheet longer? Can you go longer than 100 inches? You can. However, the PDF will not save past 100 inches. Actually, I think it's like 108 or something like that, but I wouldn't push it past 100. But you can go and create much bigger than that. I'm going to just put this weird number just to see how high I can go. Oh, it's still going. Okay, so width-wise, 196. Height, it's definitely not limiting me. Oh, hold on, 2,000. Yeah, it's letting me go on and on and on. That's when I say it's really no limit, but who in the heck is going to design 2,000 inches? So we're just going to go ahead and bring this back to something a little bit more reasonable. With my 17. Just log on to your dashboard. Everything for this class, I do not do anything in a group or anything like that. You log into the class and you're going to click on the one that says EOS Q3 Review 2024. And you're going to click, when you click on that link, it's going to make it seem like you're going to join the Zoom, but you can click there to register. So whether you do it now or you do it tonight, it's going to take you to a screen to register for the Zoom, just so that you can select all of them and you will get email reminders, or you can add it to your calendar. So you just go to, whether it's now or if you want to do it when it gets closer to the time for class, you're just going to go on there and click on it, and everything is always on your dashboard. Anytime you guys hear me mention a class, whatever that class is, immediately go to your dashboard and it is going to be on your dashboard every single time. That's why we pay these folks good money every single month to keep everything in one place. If I mention a class and you are enrolled in it, you go to your dashboard. If you're not enrolled in it and you sign up for it, if you already had a class, go to your dashboard. It will immediately be there. Anything that you order from here, as far as a class, will immediately show up on your dashboard. What time do we have classes, guys? Let me know in the comments. What time does every single class with the professor? If it's an evening class, what time does it start? Okay. And when you log in, it's going to tell you, because all classes are not held at the same time. This is why I want you to register, because you are going to see the start time for each class, like the day that it's on and what the start time is. If it's an evening class, I start at the same time every day. If it's a daytime class, it starts at the same time. So what time? 6:30 p.m. Every last one of my evening classes starts at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Every single time. You don't have to ever question a class for me. It will start at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If it is an afternoon class, it's going to start at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm very, very consistent when it comes to that. All right. There are no questions. Any additional questions? I'm going to let you guys go. We're at an hour. I'll probably do this again because I feel like YouTube and Facebook played in my face. So I'll probably do this again. And it's going to be the same information, guys. Just kind of letting people know how to download it, what you can use it for. So you don't have to, come around if you did this one, unless you happen to come up with a new question. All right. So visit the website, shop.hsink365.com, and enroll today, or enroll before Saturday, Friday, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. After that, the price will change. So if you want to lock in at either of these prices, make sure that you do it before 11:59 p.m. on the 19th. Until next time, guys, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity and be incredible. Peace.